All right, so this Charlie Parker tune, Ornithology, that the study number 8 is based on, it works over all 2-5-1 chords, including the minor 2-5-1, and then I broke down what those are. Okay, and then what is it? 1-3-5-3, and then you do a tritone sub, more on that later, 5-3-1 flat 7 over the original, or over the tritone sub, not the original chord. So, an example. Now in this case I've only indicated one example, the B minor to the E. Right, that's the B, D, F sharp D, which is 1-3-5-3, and then we tritone sub, meaning we're going to play a B flat minor chord over the E7. Tritone is a tritone away, right? Instead of, that's the 5th. Tritone is a half step below. That's the interval, right? There's the 5th, tritone. Okay? You know, in the Wizard of Oz. Oh, ee, oh, oh. That's the 5th. Tritone is right under it. It's a cool sound. Okay, less confusing. I circled where the tritone sub could happen. So we're substituting a chord. Now, in this arrangement, those are not there. So these are other options, right? So B minor to E7, you could just change that to a B flat minor, which is... Okay, and then A minor to D7. Okay, so the A flat minor is the substitute chord there. So then, anyway, I've indicated where that can happen. It's measure 33, 34, 35. Notice in this sequence that everything is chromatic. You have B to B flat to A flat to G. So, and what's cool about this, the reason why this is exciting to me, is because now we're playing with chromaticism. So we have all these patterns. Very simply targeting, right? We're getting into wanting to expand that to where chromaticism is added. And that kind of gives it the bebop era, right? This is a great tune. So, adding chromaticism, adding tritone subs to your belt, you know? All right, here's the second page. There's the line. I find like just writing the notes out rather than writing the music can be really helpful to like looking at a chord and looking at it arpeggiated out or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of what this is here. And then we have looks like this on paper. I'm overemphasizing the flat 9. As you can see my little note here, it says these could also be thought of as the flat 9, you know, instead of the tritone sub, but it is a tritone sub. That's cool because you're getting a half step above and below. Kind of that tune, bebop. Messed that up. Something like that. There's that sound. Genius. Not to be used lightly, but that is what that is. Genius. So anyways, just like I said before, using standard vocabulary over the bridge rather than the ornithology line might be better. It just has it just flows a little better. Or targeting the fifth. 2-5-1 another direction. It has a kind of a cool sound to it instead of a little awkward. Yeah. So anyway, it is a lot to take in for me. I'm speaking to myself too. You know, we've been having these Fort Worth ISD. You know, we've been having these jam sessions at Sundance Square downtown, put on by an alumni of Pascal Gregory Newman, fantastic educator. Puts these on. He's in charge of music creation at music curator of Sundance Square. Well, anyways, I'm saying all of that because he's gifting my students every single 2 weeks is what it is now, with a 2-hour jam session where they play with a professional rhythm section. And this is the kind of stuff that they're talking about and looking at tunes and trying to put vocabulary and see how much repetition there is as you learn more and more tunes with 2-5-1s, major 2-5-1s, minor 2-5-1s, how to find them, what scales to play, what ideas work, you know, what recordings to listen to, all of that. So I'm finding myself fascinated by being able to even better put into words the kind of stuff that I can play on my instrument. But if you can teach it, you can certainly, you're going to be a better player. So that's for you to mentor your friends too with this kind of thing. Spread the love, because it's cool. Once you get to talking about it, it can light up. And then once a person finds their light bulb, meaning like this starts to make sense, that's a big deal. So anyways, this is not in the study material, but I think it's kind of worth doing. I wanted to be able to create solos using what we've learned or what we've talked about. The first solo I played tonight was all improvised. So this one, 4-bar intro, 2. This one's going to use more of the same vocabulary we've learned. So wait. Whew, that is hard to do. But if I were to spend another hour on it, I would be really honed in, because that's gotten me thinking in a different way than I normally think on this tune. Like I'm absolutely 100% rather than just sort of. I'm about 100% when it comes to the bridge to knowing on, like to see it, to see C7, C major, to B flat minor, to A flat 7, oh sorry, B flat to E flat 7, to A flat major, that 2-5-1, that quick 2-5-1, I can see them all. When before, if I'm learning this tune in different, like I learned it originally on alto, learned it on tenor, I can't remember which one, and that messes me up, because those, you know, E flat instrument versus a B flat instrument, and then learning it on piano and flute, you're learning tunes in multiple keys, you know, but when you go back to the original keys of tunes and you're studying them slowly and thoroughly like this, it is really rewarding. You're able to get rid of all of the not good in your playing. I mean, you've got to know. I had a professor tell me that at UNT, Mr. Mike Steinell, the best. He said, you sound good and you sound like you know what you're doing. That's great. But you can't always put it into words. And I thought that it was messing up my playing to be able to put it into words. It's actually making it better. To know exactly. No mystery. Now, does that mean that I don't quest for mystery? No, that's what improvising is to me, is questing for the mystery. But to be diligent, to do the hard work, to really break it down, that's going to be the reward. So now I'm just going to free myself up and improvise over this thing. But I think I'm going to end up playing over the bridge a little bit better just because I worked out some things, you know, where I wasn't unsure of what was next. I could actually see it. Just like it was a blues or a standard tune that I was really familiar with. This tune's always been really hard for me. So this is helping make it easier to navigate. 2, 4-bar intro each time. 1, 2, 3. Top of the form. Alright, I've reached the final A section. I want to stop for a second. The bridge is killing me still. I just don't feel like the amount of time I spent is enough to have really ingrained, because I still couldn't hear the B flat to the E flat to the A flat as good as I want. You know, and then that sort of leaves me astray on the next 2-5-1. So it is worth its weight in gold to, you know. And not one time did I play that there. Or I did do. I did a variation on these, but I didn't play not one time. And it really would have been a good solo if I did. So, because then I would have been able to play something off of it that would have helped me onto the next chord. And I could have done some motivic play, but I just haven't done as much homework as I would like to have done. So anyway, that's kind of the moral of the story. Even through like putting this out there, this tune is that difficult, you know, and you do want to do all of these things, and it really opens the door to many other things. Very last thing I'll leave you with is, besides learning the tune and lyrics to this wonderful tune, which I'm not going to say the name of it, but it says I Have Met Miss Jones, so you can figure it out. From there, find the Aebersold play-along that it comes in. It's got it in the different, not the different keys, but the different for all instruments. And it has the words. So that's super valuable. I find the Jamie Aebersold collection to be a huge part of my development and learning tunes because they're pretty accurate. They have his history behind them and all of that. So doing your due diligence there, after all of this, of course, but maybe even before that, is super important to understanding the form and the tune. And then you're going to hear lines when you learn, the more melodies you learn. So anyways, you got to learn the tune. Then you've got to learn how to play over the tune, targeting all the 2-5-1s, putting brackets around them. That means you're just putting a bracket around the 2 and letting the bracket be open through the 5 and then closing it after the 1. And that is, or you can highlight it. But either way, that's targeting them, and having vocabulary there over all tunes that you learn is huge. And I said this to my band right before summer break. I said, what happens when you learn 20 tunes? Awesome. You're 20 tunes ahead of somebody that knows a few. Now what do you start to learn by then? You start to learn a few patterns, cycles, spot, different things that mean something to you, and putting it all together in your brain, no matter how you think and learn. But what happens when you learn 30 or 40 or 50 or 100? And then I kept asking these questions that I thought were so silly. And I talked about how I knew somebody that knows 800 of these suckers, So 300 tunes, 400 tunes. Just think about all the stuff you start to spot and learn and negotiate in your music and your improv, your improvising, your playing, and who you are as a player, and it really starts to matter. So the last thing that I'll leave you with, that I was getting to through all those points, is it's okay to play fragments of these ideas and to rhythmically mess with them. Then they don't sound like patterns. So let me give you a few examples. And like I said, I'm still practicing under tempo. I'm still at 150. That may be too fast for you. It may be, you may feel like it's too slow, but it's great. It's grooving, So anyways, 4-bar intro. 2, a 1, 2 right here. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. So I'm going to play a little bit of these lines. A, 3. A bad example. That goes back to the top. All right, so it's fun. I'm trying to be real particular. You could hear I was messing with articulation. I'm just trying different things to express, All of that's very important when you're doing all this. So, if you played a solo like that really just kind of outlined some vocabulary and bits and pieces, but it was very conducive to a really good solo, and it was so clear, that you've done your homework, that is going to get you to the top. But more importantly, when I'm talking about the all-state process, more importantly though, you start to learn all these tunes, and you just keep learning them and learning them and learning them and learning them. And it's not so much about all-state anymore. It should just be about the reward of learning all of this material. So anyway, I bid you adieu. I hope that you enjoyed this, and please reach out if you have any questions, comment below. But everything should be pretty bookmarked in terms of the structure of all of this. And yeah, like I said, I'm handwriting all of this just because that was the way I chose to do it. So I'll get that going for the other instruments for their keys. All right, thank you. Good luck.